The new progress system has came out and it's insane. I'm going to be going over how it works and what mechs and weapons you should buy in each tier. And if you do enjoy the video, consider liking and subscribing. I'd appreciate it a ton. So how the new progress system works is that it's going to be divided into 8 tiers. It takes a certain amount of stars to get from one tier to the next. And you can get these stars from buying or upgrading mechs and weapons. So if you buy a common mech or weapon, it gets you 1 star. An uncommon mech or weapon gets you 2 stars. A rare mech or weapon gets you 3 stars. An epic mech or weapon gets you 4 stars. And a legendary mech or weapon gets you 5 stars. But if you upgrade the rank of a mech or weapon, it only gets you 1 stars regardless of the rarity. So it's almost always a better idea to buy mechs or weapons rather than upgrade mechs or weapons. The only exception is if the mech or weapon is strong end game, then it's worth upgrading the mech or weapon. So here's tier 1. This is the tier that everyone's going to unlock at the start. So to get to tier 2, you need 5 stars. So I'd buy all the mechs and weapons in green, and that'll get you 5 stars. You could get the auto cannon 2 and the thermal lance 2 instead of the RPG 4, but I think the RPG 4 is more useful. And don't get all the mechs and weapons in red. And here is tier 2. You need 18 stars to get to the next tier, so I'd buy all the mechs and weapons in green. You could get the shotgun instead of Puma, but I think Puma is more useful. And definitely don't get the mechs and weapons in red. Next is tier 3, and this is how it is. You need 24 stars to get to the next tier, so I'd buy all the mechs and weapons in green. You could get Shadow instead of the Javelin rack 6, but I don't think Shadow's worth it. And don't get all the mechs and weapons in red. Next is tier 4, and this is how it is. You need 24 stars to get to the next tier, so I'd buy all the mechs and weapons in green. You could get Tengu instead of the Gauss rifle 10, but I don't think Tengu's worth it. And all the mechs and weapons in red are ripoffs. Next is tier 5, and this is how it is. You need 30 stars to get to the next tier, so I'd buy all the mechs and weapons in green. You could get the helix rack 10 instead of the arc turret 10, but I think the arc turret 10 is slightly more useful. And you could save up for the EM rifle 8, but it's really expensive. And don't get all the mechs and weapons in red. Next is tier 6, and here's how it is. You need 30 stars to get to the next tier, so I'd buy all the mechs and weapons in green. You could get the missile rack 12 instead of the helix rack 12, but I think the helix rack 12 is better. And you could get Orion, but I don't think it's necessary since stalker's better. But if you like Orion, then it's not a bad choice to get. And don't get all the mechs and weapons in red. Next is tier 7, and here's how it is. It's definitely the best tier with all the best mechs and weapons. You need 36 stars to get to the next tier, so I'd buy all the mechs and weapons in green. And you could get the Graviton Beam 12 and the Minigun 12 instead of the Voltaic RPG 16, but the Voltaic RPG 16 is cheaper, and I'd recommend getting that. And definitely don't get any of the mechs or weapons in red. Next is tier 8, and here's how it is. This is the last and final tier. Once you get to this tier, I'd definitely recommend getting the EM Rifle 16, Bastion, the Disc Launcher 16, and the Railgun 16. You could get Onyx and Gatecrasher if you like them, and I definitely wouldn't recommend getting the Minigun 16 and the Graviton Beam 16. So if you bought everything I told you in green, the total cost will be 68,000 acoins and almost 6 million credits. That's super expensive, and I hope Plarium makes it cheaper in the future. But if you wanted to get to tier 8 the cheapest way possible, this is how you do it. You buy all these mechs and weapons in tier 1, buy all these mechs and weapons in tier 2, and upgrade the RPG 6 to rank 2, buy all these mechs and weapons in tier 3, buy all these mechs and weapons in tier 4, buy all these mechs and weapons in tier 5, buy all these mechs and weapons in tier 6, and buy all these mechs and weapons in tier 7. And the total cost will be 58,000 acoins and the same amount of credits. So you could save 10,000 acoins just by doing it this way. But I think it's worth the extra 10,000 acoins doing it the recommended way. These are the difference between the cheapest and the recommended path. In tier 1 of the cheapest way, you get the auto cannon 2, while in the recommended way, you get the RPG 4. I think the extra 300 credits is worth it since the RPG 4 is much more useful. And in tier 2, instead of upgrading the RPG 6, you buy Puma. I think the extra 131 acoins is worth it since Puma is much more useful than an RPG 6. And you also save 15,000 credits while you're at it. And in tier 3, instead of getting the Gauss Rifle 6, you get Guardian. Guardian is definitely worth the extra 450 acoins. He's a really strong mech, while the Gauss Rifle 6 is a garbage weapon. And in tier 5, instead of getting the Helix Rack 10, you get Aegis. I think Aegis is worth the extra 1,050 acoins. The Helix Rack 10 isn't that good since the Helix Rack 12 is much better. And Aegis is a strong mech, especially if you get good at using him. But Aegis is a high skill cap mech, so I can understand if you don't want to get him. And in tier 6, instead of getting the nade launcher 12, you get killshot. I think killshot is definitely worth the 925 extra acoins. And in tier 6, instead of getting the missile rack 12, you get panther. Panther is definitely worth the extra 925 acoins. He's one of the best mechs in the game and better than the Missile Rack 12. And in tier 7, instead of getting the Nade Launcher 16, you get Surge. Although 6,275 extra acoins is a lot, I think it's definitely worth it. Surge is one of the best mechs in the game and worth every acoin. I think it's worth following the recommended way, but it's your choice what you want to do. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and see ya guys.